If you watch me on a regular basis here at the Voice of College Football, you realize that I enjoy oddities, strange statistics, aberrations, and nobody hits that in college football betting like the Iowa Hawkeyes, of course. And sure, the offense is improved, sure, but let's not go crazy on this. And of course, 2 weeks ago, they ran into a second half game against Iowa State that they lost on a 54-yard field goal. And so now it's Big Ten play for a couple teams that are used to playing those sorts of games as Iowa goes to Minnesota. And of course, all sorts of people got upset or elated because there was an Iowa late touchdown on a punt return that, of course, was called back based on an illegal fair catch signal that caused all sorts of controversy last year. So the two teams get together once again. We got Steve Merrill on the line from Wager Talk to help us break it down, Steve.
Yeah, so Iowa's a fascinating team to me as well, Mark. I always love talking about them with you here on the Hawkeye Team channel because they were so good defensively last year, but so equally bad offensively. And then, head coach's son, no longer the OC, so maybe there's no more daddy ball. We got a chance, 40-0 win against Illinois State to start. It was looking pretty good. I drank the Kool-Aid. I bit into it against Iowa State. I've only lost 2 college football games in the past 2 weeks for my clients, and that was one of them in which Iowa had a 13-0 lead with that strong defense. I felt like I was on the right side there a couple of Saturdays ago, and they found a way to come up short. That's all she wrote for Iowa. I'm not messing with this side anytime soon, but I will look at the total in this game. First, by the way, my 10,000 game simulation projects on average a 1-point Iowa win. So at 2.5, the line's a little high. What you want to keep an eye out for, though, is if it hits that key number of 3. At that point, there is some value with Minnesota in what should be a very low-scoring game because, as you see on the screen, the total is 35.5. So that key number of 3 is more likely in a low-scoring game. So at 3 or more, I lean Minnesota, but I like under 35.5. This is an Iowa team that went under the total 9 straight games to finish the season last year. Some of those were in the 20s, and they still stayed under. They did not score a single point in their final 2 games against both Michigan and then their bowl game. Yes, they're improved offensively this year, but Minnesota's a really good defensive team right now. In fact, it's pretty impressive what they did in that first opener against UNC. That 19-17 home loss came down to the wire, held a decent UNC offense to just 105 passing yards. Did give up 147 rushing yards, which was a concern. But look at the last 2 weeks against Rhode Island and Nevada, 18 and 58 rushing yards allowed. This Iowa team still has to get it done on the ground. The Hawkeyes have run for over 200 yards in all 3 games, but I do think this Minnesota rush defense is solid. I look for a low-scoring game. Let's play it like we would have played it last year, and that's under 35.5.
Steve stops by here at the Voice of College Football every week, but you can catch Steve's work every day. And Steve, there's a extra incentive to do so now.
Yeah, it's a great time of the year. We've got college and pro football. Went 5-2 last week, including 3-1 last Saturday in college football alone. Baseball, though, don't sleep on baseball. 29-9 current best bet run on baseball as we head into the playoff stretch. Pick any game you'd like. Get one of my personal best bets for free. Here's how it works. Each game is $25. Go to my page, stevemerrillwagertalk.com. Select the $25 selection you want at checkout. Use promo code VOICE25, and you get an instant $25 credit, which means you get that best bet for free. Do it right now. Steve Merrill, wagertalk.com.
Keep in mind, folks, that Steve stops by to break down all the big games across college football, so you can just kind of hop to the various team channels and check them all out. But if you want the under-the-radar selection that Steve provides us here at the Voice of College Football, go to Patreon, /MarkRogersTV, or become a premium YouTube channel member on the main channel to get Steve's under-the-radar selection exclusive to us at the Voice of College Football. 23-6 against the spread since the first week of 2022. Find out more now. College football is even more exciting with some action on the line. And the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Let's start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread. I've got a 40-year track record. In fact, in 2023, at $100 played per game, you would have netted over $9,300. And guess what? I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill, our ace in the hole, show stopper from Wager Talk. 6 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick, which went 21-5 against the spread the last 2 seasons. I repeat, 21-5 against the spread. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Steve Dace and Matt Zemek. Become a YouTube channel member or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2024 a winner now.